Hey, bubbling, coming in, crushing this art. Welcome to Bubblin's Astrologic Numerology. So let us discuss number 5. So happy birthday if it's the 5th. Lovely 5 things if you got 5 things right. So straight up, 5 is uber fixed. It is the epitome of fixity because it is the middle of the 9. Here, I'll show you a better representation. Right here, right? We have 0 between 1 and 9, right? Somewhere right there. But it's 0, right? It has no space. Whereas 5 is like right across from it, the dead balance. So there is something to 5 being balance, and something else to 5 being weight, as we have weightlessness over here, right? So yes. So just thinking about that for a little bit. 5 is this balance, but it is through holding up the world. I really do think it relates with 0 in that they both are playing a balancing role, right? But 0 through the wild card, airy, able to create a new, right? And then 5 through the balance and the logic and the fixity and the structure. Um, but I really do believe there's a balancing aspect there, for sure. So, yeah, now when we think about fire too in the fixed realm, because on the dial of 4, it's 1, right? And this is fire. Um, yeah. So, fire in the fixed realm, what's here? Here's a good representation: water, earth, air, fire. Fire being at the top and the most like left or the most up, versus water being the most down, right, and then the earth and the air being the andromatics. We have 4, 5, 6. But either way, don't mind that. But either way, so if we're looking at 5 on the dial of 4, we do see that 5 is 1. Um, and yeah, one of the ways that we can is that it's 1, 5, or 9 paired with even. So we have these pairs in odd numbers of in the dial of 4 of 1, 5, 9, and 3 and 7. We can see it here: 1, 5, 9, 3 and 7. It's kind of a side note. And then we have 3 and 7, right? And then 1, 5, 9. And it's paired with certain tens places. And so we can see this through, it doesn't matter what the hundreds is, because at 100, the dial of 4 resets back to 0. So the cool thing about this is once we start to see that 1, 5, or 9, if they're paired with the even, which we'll know goes against the flow because there's 3 of them, also 1, 5, and 9 are the extremes, then it's fire. Versus if it's 3 or 7, which kind of balance each other, right, and are one and the same, the mutable of cardinal and the cardinal of mutable. Well, if they're with the even, then we know the air's going with the flow, right? Versus if it's with the odd, the 1, 5, or 9, the extremes, that's going with the flow too. So you can see how the air always pairs and the fire always goes against. But that's just one thing. We can also just remainder 4, right? Know what's divisible by 4. Look around it. But yeah. So so going back to this idea of fire in the fixed realm, this shows us that we're trying to create and bring our own direction towards sense and responsibility, right? There's a sort of shaking up of structure and a sort of a feeling caged and a sort of wanting to be like wanting to find new ways to express myself. Um, yeah, and also yeah, the sort of an ability to find ways to develop situations around what you love now, right? If you're so fed up with the situation, actually making change, right, and bringing new to it. Um, yeah, but always out of sense. There's almost like this understanding that is bringing change. It almost feels kind of Scorpio like, even though it is like kind of would connect more to Leo, right? But it's just that we're still coming from a fixed perspective, right? So we're dealing with sense, we're considering sense, but it's got us all fiery. It's got us wild up to where we feel we have to go our own way on it, right? Within the realm of sense, within our structures, within our roles, within our responsibility, and within our reason. So yeah, it's sort of like a creating new lane and a sort of having your own perspective of um, and yeah, your own sort of way to utilize sense, but it still is that sense based. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So if we get a little bit deeper into five, so now it being a fire sort of has that power over mind being one times five, and it has a uniqueness being prime. Yeah, so there's a lot more individuality showing out. So yeah, it's like it is really Leo like because it's got all of this structure to it and all of this wanting a solid place and wanting a solid platform and like really having connections right and being kind of solid but still wanting to keep it unique, keep it lively, and keep it my own. Um, yeah, but so and then five too, like we said, is fixed, and that's in the first place. So it expresses itself still as a very solid character, as a very yeah, just very like kind of Atlas like right, balancing through holding up the world, but still like keeping it their own right and keeping it forced to keeping it lively. So there might be struggles in that you maybe almost feel like you should be responsible for more than you want to be responsible for, but still this sort of ability um, to 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 ground your vision right and to slowly carve a way where you can be responsible for what you love right, but sort of trial tribulation within that because right if you have this sort of fire mixing with earth and mixing with reason and mixing with security, right? It's gonna cause a lot of change and kind of trial tribulation around, along the way, right? But that's kind of what can forge that beauty, right? Yeah, your own circumstance. So, hey, five, holler at me. Let me know if you want to talk more. I'll be love to talk about it. I'll have numbers in the description that have the same zodiacal placement. If you love five, you know, and you want a different way to rep it, it'll be awesome. Yeah, I want to put on my numbers too, but hey, bubbling, Citra, Beach, out.